Hey everybody, Jesse with Better CNC here with our first topic video of 2025. And I'm diving right into it on this one. And our first topic we're going over is Xometry. So just so you a little bit of background about me and my experience with Xometry. I became a partner in early 2021 using a Tormach 770 MX working out of my garage. I've been a partner with them with my own business for 4 years now. In that time, we've done 203 jobs for over $230,000. And I've actually worked with them with my previous employer. We onboarded with them and did a good amount of work too. My first year with my shop, Xometry was about 70% of our revenue. We've reduced that percentage each year. They currently sit now 15 to 20% over any period of time with my shop. That was planned. I never wanted Xometry to be our sole customer or our primary customer. And for full transparency, Xometry does keep a score on all their partners. Our score currently is a 90 with a quality score of 100, an on-time delivery score of 94, a communication score of 58, which doesn't mean a whole lot. I think the communication score is kind of broken. And an engagement score of 70, which just means you take kind of rates on how often you take jobs off the board. But we're going to jump into this next bit, which is questions I often see from around the internet from different places whenever people are talking about it. Starting off, we're going to talk about, is it profitable? And from my point of view, yes. So I don't have any specific metric on how profitable Xometry is. But I can tell you the work that I did starting out with them being 70% of my revenue in my first year. Before my first 12 months was up, we had already placed a down payment and ordered our second machine, which was a 2005 Leadwell V30 3-axis milling machine. So I can't answer how profitable is that as a percentage, but I'm now in a warehouse with 2 machines and a couple employees. So it helped me get where I am, and there's money in the bank. So I've also seen, can the work be done on a Tormach or a similar small machine? And yes, one of the reasons why I planned to join Xometry with my Tormach is because the Tormach is limited on space, a little limited on capability on how you can effectively machine things. And Xometry gave me an avenue where I can kind of dictate the work that I do. Instead of just trying to pull in anything that comes in the door and having to no-bid a lot of work, Xometry gave me the ability to pick and choose the work that fit me, my schedule, my capability as I had it available. So I think starting with Xometry and Tormach or a similar type small machine is a great way to get started. I know a few people that have done it. I've done it myself. So a lot of people ask what type of work is on there in terms of pay, quantity, material, and this depends. Xometry has several groups different groups they put their partners in. They have basic, they have premium, they have super premium or something like that. ITAR, ISO are all kind of divided into their own groups. So I'm just in a general machining group. I believe I'm still a premium partner. But the pay is okay. It varies a lot. There's a lot of stuff that pays way too little. But for the stuff that does pay good, especially if I already have the material on the floor, I can usually knock out a job for a couple $100 in just an hour or two. So it times out pretty evenly. And there are some really nice diamonds in the rough. Best job I've done so far paid out, I think, $2,500 or $3,000, and I knocked it out in 4 hours using a piece of material I already had on the floor. So there's some stuff that pays real nice. In terms of quantity, the highest quantity I've done for them was probably 50 or 100 pieces. I've had some bigger orders that were $10,000+ where it was like several parts, about quantity 50, but most stuff on there I would say is 20 pieces or less based on the job board that I have available. They may have higher quantities in different tiers or different certifications, but not that I can see. For material, it's like most work that comes in the door. Most of it is aluminum. You'll get some stainless, you'll get some plastics, you'll get titanium on occasion. Generally, it's 60-61 aluminum from what I've seen. But it's like any other shop. You don't. It varies with whatever's going on in the world. I've seen a lot of people ask, are there other types of work? I believe there are. I believe there is EDM. I don't think they'll accept manual shops. If you're a manual only kind of guy, I don't think Xometry will take you as a partner. But if you do EDM, if you do water jet, you should be able to get on board. I think that's just different sections, so I can't really speak to the type of work that's on there. But Xometry offers virtually everything in terms of capability wise, so I would assume that they have an EDM board, have a water jet board, have a laser board, things like that. I just know from a manual standpoint, if you got a Bridgeport and a lathe in your garage, you probably aren't going to be able to get on board. So what's the onboarding like? So I know it's changed quite a bit since I first set up. When I set up, you had to answer some surveys, show that you had insurance, create a test piece. They had a test piece that I had to build out of 316 stainless or something like that, or maybe it was 304, but I had to build a test piece, send it in, they inspected it, and then I got approved to go. I don't know if that's changed. I've seen mention of video tours of your shop, things like that in the past. I'm not sure if that's an Xometry thing or other companies. But otherwise, yeah, you do the test piece, you get approved. Then you're in kind of a probationary period where your first few jobs you do, you have to ship to Xometry, make sure it's on time. They'll inspect the part again before it goes out to the end customer, things like that. But once you do 5 to 10 jobs, I don't know what the specific count is anymore, they let you loose to ship directly to the customer. And then once you hit 20 to 30 jobs, then they open up your job board more because you're pretty limited at the start. And then they open it up to more critical customers, bigger work, longer lead times, things like that. So let's say anyone who signs up, I always recommend you muscle through those first 20 to 30 jobs. And make sure everything is just mind your P's and Q's, top notch, like you should every time anyways. But once you do that, they'll bump you up to some of the more lucrative job boards. So I've already touched on this a little bit. They do have tiers. They do have groups. The tiers are based on amount of work and your score throughout. So let's say they have just kind of the basic level. They have premium. They have a second level premium. I'm not sure what the technical name is. But that's all based on your score. And I think to go to the highest level, you have to have a quality management system of some sort. They do have documents available to help you put that into place if you don't have anything or can't build your own. They also have groups for if you have your ISO certification, your AS9100, and everything like that. They kind of have a different group sectioned off so you can only see what you're allowed into. So all my experience, I don't have ISO, I don't have AS9100, but I've been a premium partner. I don't think I ever got to the highest level. So everything I'm telling you is just based on what I've seen. So here, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about my point of view on it and what I think about Xometry as a small machine shop. What's their benefits, pros, cons? How are they to the industry? And so what I tell anyone starting a shop who has a small shop, I recommend everybody become a partner because work is always available on there. Let's say it's a free avenue for work. You don't have to pay to become a partner. You just need to prove that you're a real business and that you can provide quality work on time. And to me, if you're a small shop, it's crazy to not at least have access to free work. You don't even have to take work. I take jobs every once in a while. If I'm not taking a lot from them, I'll take something just to make sure my side stays alive. Because yeah, free access to work is free access to work. If you're hungry for something to do and you got open capacity, take advantage of it. And next point I want to touch on is some of the work pays really well. So you'll hear a lot of people out there say that there's no good work, everything pays, it's kind of a race to the bottom of the barrel, which I'll agree to some extent. A lot of the work does not pay that well on Xometry. But the jobs that do pay well, some of them pay really well. I gave an example earlier. I mentioned a job I did for $2,500 using material I had on the floor. But yeah, some of it pays really nice, and also it's why they have a network. So one job that pays poorly for me, somebody else may be better fit for it, and it works out really nice for them. So it all just depends. I think that's part of their strategy of having a giant network is somebody can do it and make profit off of it. One thing I will note about them is their communication is not the best. So I have had issues. I've had jobs go late because I'm waiting on them to give a response. I've asked manufacturability questions before and found out later that they did not actually ask the customer. They just tried to answer it themselves. Well, there's one particular case where I pushed them on this. It was a repeat order from me. It had a different finish than what they had the first time. I asked once if that was the correct finish or if it should have been what we did previously. They came back right away and said, do what the PO says. I pressed them on it. I was like, did you clarify with the customer? Could you just make sure? They went to the customer, found out it was a misclick and it was supposed to be the original finish from the previous order. So sometimes they try and give an answer, whether it's the right answer or the best answer. They just try and get you an answer quickly, which doesn't always benefit the customer in the end. But that's one of the issues I've run into with them. It definitely seems like a lot of their team works in silos. So if you have something coming close to the due date or you're running late on something, you might have multiple people asking you about it, the same question, because their system, I'm not sure, just doesn't update everybody across the board. So multiple people will ping you for the same thing. So my opinion on Xometry, about how they are for the industry, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a great resource for small shops and people with open capacity to fill. But say a free avenue for work is a free avenue for work. But putting too much work coming from one place like that, especially a company that's publicly traded, their goal is to make profit as well. And because they dictate payouts before machine shops have a chance to look at it, then often that typically leads to lower payouts for machine shops overall. We are able to give feedback. You can give feedback, and a lot of times they will come back and bump that price up. But being a for-profit company, they're gonna pay out what they think they can get away with, which is fine. I don't blame them for that. They're a company and they got to make money like the rest of us, and that's why I think Xometry should just be an avenue for work, but not your sole source. There are people that can do it. I think it does pay better if you get to premium or ISO or ITAR. But for a standard shop like me, where I don't have certifications or like that, yeah, you got to find the diamonds in the rough because a lot of the work's going to not pay as well as it should. But that's pretty much all I've got to go over on this topic. I want to try and keep these videos under 15 minutes so they fit and break so everybody can kind of catch it when they get a chance. So if you like this, if you have any other questions on this topic, make sure to let me know in the comments, and I can do a follow-up in the future. Otherwise, like and subscribe helps me get this stuff out there, and I enjoy doing this. I enjoy helping other shops. So take it for what you will. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.